Chat, disturbing internet mysteries that's been solved, but we're gonna have to solve them before they do.
Funtime Kids Care. On the 25th of January 2015, Reddit user Disco Godfather 6922 made a post on the Salt Lake City subreddit that would start one of the biggest conspiracies in the platform's history.
Okay.
The post featured an image of a mysterious bright green building with little to no context.
Very bright.
Its only identifying features were several signs that read Funtime Kids Care, suggesting that the building might have once been a daycare center, or at least—
I've already solved it. They unfortunately kidnap kids and hold them there and then traffic them there. They sell them there.
pretending to be one. The title of the post read, "What's the deal with this place? Lived across the street from it for 5 years, never seen a kid there." At first glance, an abandoned daycare doesn't seem all that interesting, but something about this building felt off. There were details that didn't quite add up. The mismatch between the fresh-looking outside paint with old, worn-out signs, and the odd—
Well, like, the thing is, like, if they were doing something dodgy in there, they're not really hiding in plain sight, are they? Like, you're literally screaming, "Look at me," in my big neon green sign. Like, bro, what?
oddly placed windows that appeared to be boarded up from the inside. These
That's
strange
weird.
elements caught people's attention, and before long the post had gone viral across the internet. Then things got even stranger. A few days later, Disco Godfather visited the building again and described what they saw in a comment. "So I just came back from the place and found something in the back covered by a camo tarp. I then saw a Mexican man come out, pick something up, and go back inside. Earlier in the day I went there and saw a pizza guy trying to deliver a pizza to the place. He knocked and nobody came to the door. He left and I was about to as well until I noticed kids walking up to the door and trying to get in.
What?
Finally, an old Mexican lady opened the door and let them in. 5 years of living here, never saw a single person go in or out. Then in one day I see 4 people. Weird." And while some people joked about the building being the base of operations for Walter White from the popular TV show Breaking Bad, others took things more seriously. To them, this daycare looked like a money laundering front, or something far sinister like an organ harvesting operation. One person also pointed out the—
Well, yeah, it could be money laundering. Like, you got a kids' daycare business, right? You take the cash there. Like, you can't really tell if kids have been there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could be money laundering, but I don't know why you had it bright green. Like, that's too, like, in your face.
convenient timing of Disco Godfather seeing the 2 kids after their post went viral, stating, "Could still be a drug front, but perhaps due to the additional attention it's getting, they're bringing in some of their own kids to make the place look more convincing." But before Disco Godfather and the rest of the internet could find any concrete answers, a Reddit user by the name of Deathship advised them to stop looking into this place. Naturally, people wanted to know who this guy was.
Mate, he's called Deathship.
Redditors began looking further into Deathship to understand their ominous warning. They made some interesting revelations. Deathship was a retired Air Force linguist who was fluent in 8 different languages and was also stationed in Area 51 at some point. If these credentials were true, it was possible that this mysterious building was affiliated with one of the 3-letter organizations like the DoD, FBI, and CIA. And if Deathship knew, that would explain his warnings telling Disco Godfather to back off.
Aliens.
But things became even more terrifying when soon after Deathship's comment, Disco Godfather began receiving threats from other users. Delete your posts and comments and stop making questions. First and last warning, we know who you are. If you must continue your search, try to uncover what you seek. Do not say I didn't warn you. Things like this are always run by dangerous people. Things got even more alarming when people found a link between the daycare and a shipping container from China. The bill listed 1,100 kilograms of plastic jewelry and 6,825 kilograms of football and soccer balls.
Why
this
do you
led
need
many
that
to believe
many?
that this daycare might be involved in human trafficking, pointing out that the weight didn't match what you'd expect from lightweight plastic items. Fortunately, all of these disturbing theories were discovered to be nothing more than conspiracies. The Utah Department of Health has official childcare licensing records indicating that Funtime Kids Care is just a normal functioning daycare. A recent comment by Reddit user—
Yo, how is it a normal functioning daycare when there's no kids in sight? Like, how is that a normal functioning daycare? It's not. And windows boarded up from the inside, like—
Baby Tears also confirmed this with a personal story, which reads, "I know this post is old, but my dad actually went there as a kid. It's ran by a nice older lady. Apparently, my dad told me it's usually meant for kids as kind of a safe haven daycare to protect children who have a parent or family member that isn't meant to be in contact with them that's deemed as more dangerous or persistent. Hence why the windows are semi-covered with curtains and drawings.
I was just gonna say that. That would make sense why they're covered up.
Also for safety. That's why there are only a few kids in there. I live right by it, and they actually just painted the building a bright green with yellow windows. In the winter, there's cute snowmen in the playground.
But where are the kids, bro? And where are people saying that they take their kids there? Or why do you do like a sting operation and you send in a kid? If you don't have a kid, send your niece up, you know what I mean? Like register to take your kid.
Looking into the daycare's history, it turns out it was originally established in 1973. And it used to be much more lively back in the day. However, after being purchased by a man named Richard Yoakum, after 2006, the daycare wasn't looked after properly, with multiple complaints of issues like infants being left outside without any supervision, yelling at children, and inappropriate sanitary facilities being common. Eventually, the business started to fail. But Richard continued to operate the daycare at a loss and handed it over to his mother just so she would have something to do in her elderly years. As for the ominous warnings from Death Ship and others, they were just trolls taking the chance to harass Disco Godfather and turn this into something bigger than just a creepy building.
Right.
On May 15th, 2023, Richard passed away at the age of 79. But the Funtime Kids Care building still stands today, its legacy now reduced to a quirky internet footnote where fans of the myth—
Wow, so it's not aliens or money laundering or... Wait, is that a ghost? I knew there was something about this. I knew. I've literally paused at the exact moment a ghost appeared. I knew there was something dodgy.
Mystery even dress up—
Oh, wait, it was a transition.
as the daycare for Halloween.
It was a my bad, guys.
Ending to what was, in hindsight, a completely overblown saga.
I thought
Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video.
I thought I caught some chat.
On the 7th, 96.7 FM Strange Sounds. On the 7th of January 2018, Reddit user Batchian320 made a post on the Beaverton, Oregon subreddit describing a bizarre phenomenon. The post read, "Tune in to 96.7 if you are near Progress Ridge. Some weird shit is going on. Sitting in the car with friends, tune to 96.7 and I'm hearing weird repeating sounds and sometimes random people talking or saying random things. The sounds get more bassy and less bassy with some strange frequencies interrupting other ones. Someone please explain this." And while others initially dismissed it as nothing more than two dominant radio stations playing over each other, they quickly changed their minds after listening to the eerie broadcast themselves.
Let's hear it. Yo, if that's not aliens trying to communicate and we're interfering right there, then I don't know what that is. That is 1000% aliens, and if you don't believe so, you're brain dead. That's weird. KZRYLP. Did the alien just speak English? Then again, they probably got like some really good technology where they can like figure it out. Portland.
Around the same time, Redditor Jimmy Saltz made a very similar post in the Beaverton subreddit as well. This essentially ruled out the possibility that the issue was related to Batchian's car radio. And as time went on, more and more reports of these strange noises started coming up, all revolving around 96.7 FM. Now, if these strange noises were just that, most people would have dismissed them as a faulty broadcast system and moved on with their lives. However, the most haunting thing about these noises was that they kept changing. They would cycle between white noise, something resembling a very loud fan,
what has the radio station said?
And the most terrifying old speeches from Martin Luther King Jr., John F. Kennedy, and the Apollo 11 broadcasts.
We're approaching the 60-second mark on the Apollo 11 mission. T-minus 60 seconds and counting.
It's probably just someone interfering with it all.
I also found reports of these strange noises going as far back as 2017. And one post made by a now deleted Reddit account really stood out. It stated, "Did I record some kind of number station? Recorded this off of FM radio 1617 at about 6:30 p.m. The radio station is not officially listed." It went on in this pattern for several minutes before just playing some white noise type tone for hours and hours on end, no station call. The station is a defunct rock station I never heard of. The next day they played MLK speeches and something that maybe could be called ambient music, slow motion tones and whirring sounds. Nothing it's played is recognizable by Shazam. Any input is welcomed. The person who made this post also linked to a video they recorded, and sure enough, the noises matched the ones Batchy and 320 heard a year later. As far as I could tell, reports of these strange noises persisted until June 2018, only to disappear as suddenly as they emerged.
What?
This extended year-and-a-half-long timeline of these noises does negate the possibility of this being some troll hijacking the frequency.
Wait, yeah, that's crazy. It lasts for a whole year and a half? That's nuts.
Because over such a long period, one of the people working for the 96.7 FM station must have noticed the hack and corrected the issue.
Well, yeah, obviously.
So if these noises weren't caused by a malfunctioning broadcast or a hack, then what were they? The only people who could prove these answers were those who owned and operated the station. And after going through one of the recordings of these noises, we can hear a distorted call sign of KZRYLP.
KZRYLP.
KZRYLP. KZ. That's gotta be like Morse code in alien language. It's gotta be. New password? Government password?
Looking up this call sign in FCC's public notice from August of 2018 reveals that this station is licensed to the Community Alliance of Tenants, which is a non-profit aimed at helping tenants know
Thank you so much for the sub, Santa. 62 months. Damn.
their rights. However, this
Wait, who's it owned
from
by?
August of 2018 reveals that this station is licensed to the Community Alliance of Tenants, which is a non-profit aimed at helping tenants know their rights.
What?
However, this revelation introduced more questions than it answered. What does a non-profit focused on tenant advocacy have to do with eerie, unexplained noises on the radio? Reaching out to the Community Alliance of Tenants was met with an outright denial of having any knowledge of interference with their station.
That's weird.
This leaves only one possibility on the table, that these noises were deliberately broadcast by the Community Alliance of Tenants. As for why they would do this, the answer is simple: for attention. Think of it this way: you're driving down the highway and you want to see what's on the radio. You shuffle through the radio stations to find something you like, when all of a sudden you hear a creepy noise. Wouldn't you be curious to check out the station at a later time to see what was going on? As the explanation goes, they were likely broadcasting these noises on off hours to build curiosity around their station, which otherwise covered boring talks about tenant rights.
What?
People were mentioning this possibility all the way back in 2018 when these noises first became popular. And while the Community Alliance...
Wait. So they're doing the weird noises, and then in between them, you're getting a radio station that talks about the tenant rights? Hey, that's a whole lot of effort to be talking about a whole lot of tenants. Bro, what?
Of tenants hasn't come forward with a confession, people on the internet are 100% convinced that they deliberately created this hoax for attention.
What?
However, 96.7 FM has since been replaced by a rap station.
Are they rapping about the tenants?
The evil farming game. On the 1st of May 2016, Reddit user Sparta213 asked for help in finding a game similar to that of Harvest Moon, which is a cutesy farming game. However, this cuteness quickly turned into sheer horror as others read through the specifics of what Sparta was looking for. The post read, "I know almost nothing about this game. All I can remember is that it's kind of like Harvest Moon but with a dark twist. The game starts out with you and your wife. One night you get into a fight and you end up stabbing her to death.
What?
Now, the game revolves around you farming to stay alive while trying to
Wait. Yo, what game is this?
keep the town from finding out about the incident that happened. Every now and then the cops come to search your house and you have to hide her corpse. People found the idea of a game that combined an innocent premise like farming with such a twisted plot both disturbing and highly intriguing. Given the storyline of this mystery game, most assumed it was some obscure flash...
Mate, is this a game that the serial killers play?
Based...
I can't lie, like, in a non-weird way, I'm, like, curious. I kind of want to play it to see how bad it is.
...browser game. However, despite countless users on the subreddit dedicating hours each day to the search, they found no clues that could lead to an answer. The search also garnered an entire subreddit, which quickly grew to over 10,000 members as the legend of the game with such a dark premise traveled across the internet. The search also resulted in some users posting about having played the game a long time ago, with one such post reading, "Hi all, first time posting here. Today I found my old laptop, but sadly it won't boot up. But it brought back some great memories, particularly a game I'm about to describe. So, at the start of the game you killed your wife, but after that you just lived as normal managing your farm.
What?
However, it had a twist. The police could come at any time and find the body, so you had to constantly be wary and move the body. The laptop was built in 2001, and I bought a new one in 2003, so it would have been between that time. It wasn't a browser game, and I think I may have gotten it from uTorrent, but cannot remember to be honest. Hope this is enough info, and many thanks." However, all of these claims turned out to be false. That is, until one user solved the mystery 5 years after the original post. According to him, Sparta likely saw this animation for a clip of YouTuber Varg Skeletor Joel, otherwise known as Vinesauce, and later misremembered it as an actual game.
You know what it sounds like? It sounds like Harvest Moon, but with, like, corpses. It sounds like... That'd be a fun game, just playing as Harvest Moon, but throughout all of the gameplay, you gotta hide a dead corpse. You know what? No. You know what it is? Harvest Moon, it's just regular Harvest Moon with your wife, and midway in the game, you have an argument with your wife, and you accidentally...
Wait, so this guy watched this video, and then years down the line, he genuinely thought he played a game that was this? Because he watched a video? Hey, your brain can play some crazy tricks.
Like kill her with like a... You kill her with like a barbecue
oh, was the game actually real?
Wreck. Like you impale her accidentally, and you're like, oh, I didn't mean that. And
no, he's making it up.
As you gotta like manage your farm, you know, raise your chickens and milk the cows. You also gotta like hide the body from the cops sometimes, from health security checks, and yeah.
Sparta would confirm this to be the case, stating, "So guys, I just got around to looking at the Vinesauce animated video that someone found, and as anticlimactic as it may be, I believe that this is likely the source of the game. It fits everything exactly. And I used to fall asleep all the time watching Vinesauce videos." So, in the end, while finding the answer was satisfying, it also left many feeling empty after spending 5 long years searching for a game that ended up not even existing.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie. FBI, CIA, BBB, DDD, TTT, any of the 3-letter companies, yo, you need to find out a list of all the people searching for this game for 5 years, because I promise you on my life, they're all serial killers. I promise you on my life, if you are trying to find this game for 5 years, you're trying that hard. Like, yeah, I get it, you're curious, right? So you would see if it's there. But looking for it for 5 years is crazy. That's crazy, bro. That's psycho crazy. They need to be checked. They need to be checked. Finding Lost Media is addictive. No, I get that, but a farming game that is based about killing your wife and hiding the body every time the cops come, like, bro, it's not that deep. You know, 5 years is not. 5 years is crazy looking for that.
Kanye Quest 3030. On July 22nd,
of course, Kanye West is in this, man. His brain is a mystery.
Like in 2013, a game called Kanye Quest 3030.
Oh, never mind. Kanye, I love your music, but you're insane.
On July 22nd, 2013, a game called Kanye Quest 3030 released online, sparking a mystery that would haunt the internet for a decade. It was a very odd Pokemon-like role-playing game in which the player character, popular musician Kanye West, falls through a mysterious
it is Kanye West
portal and finds himself in the year 3030. In this future, the United States is ruled by a clone of rapper Lil B, claiming himself to be a god. The world is also filled with clones of other famous rappers like Tupac, Jay-Z, and Eminem. Your goal as the player is to put together a party of rappers, defeat Lil B, and save America.
This sounds fun.
It was an extremely strange concept, but one that made it stand out among the sea of other indie games from that era. It got popular enough to catch the attention of Video Game Donkey, one of the most respected
Yo, it actually looks like Pokemon, but rap edition.
Video game reviewers on YouTube. But just like everything else, its popularity declined over the upcoming months. The game was fun, but it had zero replayability, so it faded into internet obscurity as players moved on to whatever was trending next. However, what no one knew was that beneath its hip-hop inspired surface, the game was hiding a dark, unsettling secret.
What?
On January 28, 2015, an anonymous user made a post on Pastebin detailing the shocking discovery they had made while playing the game. The post was titled, Kanye Quest, a front for ascensionism. At one point in the game, an NPC asked
Yo, chat, help me out real quick. That's a very, very big word. It's more than 6 letters. What does that mean? A censorship. What does that mean? Guys. A front. Oh, it's just like ascension. To rise up. You ascend to the. Why did it not just ascend? Why add on the shincism? Why do that? Just say to ascend. A front to ascend and beyond. Jesus, just say that, bro.
Kanye Quest, a front for ascensionism. At one point in the game, an NPC asked the player, quote, what do you want to do, with a 6-letter blank space prompt to type your response. For fun, the user decided to type in ascend. Doing this completely changed the scene and revealed a previously unknown section of the game, with the player character turning into a white butterfly.
Okay.
Immediately after entering this new area, a text box appeared with a creepy message reading, congratulations, you have proven yourself to be an open-minded and curious thinker. We must apologize for deceiving you, but we can reveal that the game you are playing up until this point was a front constructed to protect what you are currently accessing. We must ask that you do not reveal this area to the public. If you believe that you may be prone to revealing information or do not wish to participate, please close this program immediately by pressing Alt F4 or selecting the No option when it appears. By selecting the Yes option, you agree to participate and not reveal information.
What the fuck?
Would you like to participate?
Say yes.
Here, selecting No would just close out of the game, but if you were to select Yes, the game would bring up an even creepier message.
Show me!
The following is a thought exercise designed to help teach you something beneficial. By undertaking this exercise, you will hopefully be affected in a positive way. Due to the nature of the exercise, this something cannot be revealed immediately. This exercise may or may not be restricted to this software. It is important to remember that the purpose of this exercise is to benefit you. You will not be timed. We cannot provide any more information except that we wish you good luck. You may begin now. Welcome to your ascension.
What
the game then presented you with a number of puzzles where you had to enter the right password to proceed. If you managed to successfully complete these puzzles, the game teleported you to a completely white room with a single computer. Clicking on that computer revealed the message, congratulations, you have ascended. Thank you for playing. However, this wasn't the true ending of the game, because after that, a final text box appeared, giving players yet another chance to type something. If they entered the word Micropia, the game revealed a disturbing message. You have proven your worth once again. You have ascended.
Yo, I can't lie. This is a very, very, very cool ass secret doorway in a game. Like, more games need to do some interesting, cool stuff like this. Unless they actually do ascend or join like a cool, like, just make it fun.
However, further ascension is always possible, and by selecting the Yes option, you agree to participate further and you grant us permission to interact with your possessions. Would you like to participate? If you choose Yes, the message continued, stating, over the following 2-week time period, we will interact with you and your possessions in several ways.
In real life?
Keep an eye out, as some of these ways may be subtle. Others may not be. We may attempt to contact you directly. If we do this, we will attempt to notify you of our presence using a keyword. If you still consent to participation, please select the yes option above.
This started to freak me out. This started to freak me out.
If you choose yes, one last time, the game asks for your personal details, including your first name, last name, country, city, zip code, and house number.
You know when I said that this is cool? I just want to take that back. I'm all good, bro. This is where F4, man. I ain't going no further than this. Now it's getting freaky, bro.
Once you entered this information, the game thanked you by name and told you to wait for further instructions. The repeated mentions of ascend throughout this section were a clear reference to Ascensionism, which is a cult based around the belief of reincarnation. So, was this game a recruiting tool for a mysterious cult?
What the
only way to
fuck?
find out was to wait for the promised 2 weeks. But when no one was contacted after putting in their info, people on the internet began looking for the developer of the game. However,
wait. So people actually put in their real address, hoping to be. Nah, people are actually crazy. Yo, people are actually crazy. They put in their real address, seeing if they got contacted. People are fucking crazy, bro.
All they had to go on was a pseudonym, Phoenix. Further investigation into the game led to old posts on a now defunct forum called Unfiction, where users had once discussed an alternate reality game, or ARG, called Ascensionism.
Yo, James, I know you got my address right. Listen to me right fucking now. You are not going on this game and putting in my details, bro. I swear on my life, I will hunt you down. I will snitch and I will join them and we will hunt your ass, buddy. Don't be getting any ideas.
The creators of this ARG also had a PayPal link in their bio, and donating to it revealed the name of the creator, Nicholas Lyons. And while searching this name online didn't bring up much, it did reveal a Bandcamp account mentioning that Nick was signed to the label Ascensionism Records. This label had its own Bandcamp account, which revealed another name, Valerie. It seemed the hunt for the creator of Kanye Quest 3030 was finally drawing to a close. However, things quickly went south when MadPat from the Game Theory channel interviewed Valerie in 2021.
Hey James, think about it. You live in my attic, right? So you say, yeah? They're after us both if you send them here. Don't do it, bro. Don't do it. Send Lola's instead. We'll send them to Lola's.
She had this to say.
So, Kanye Quest. It's not actually related to me. For a long time, I wanted to make music for games. Because of this, I spent hours and hours finding and talking to folks in random game developer group chats on Skype, Discord, TeamSpeak, etc. I would say sometimes, hey, feel free to use my work or even just my ideas in your stuff for free. Just make sure you credit me. And with Kanye Quest, I don't really know. I don't know who developed it. I don't know why. I guess they just liked my work and wanted to incorporate it somehow while challenging themselves to implement some weird mechanics into their game.
Instead of clarifying things, Valerie's statements only deepened the mystery. Maybe the game was actually developed by a cult after all. But just over a year after Valerie's interview, the truth was finally revealed in a web series called Finding Yeezus. The hosts of this web series managed to find the creator by tracking down one of the game testers for Kanye Quest 3030. And the reality of this game turned out to be a lot more mundane than anyone could have imagined.
I'm Clara Hope. I'm a musician and artist, and I created Kanye Quest 3030.
So, where does it begin for you?
For me, it began as a Year 12 project for high school. They wanted us to make like a major project for school, and I was like, I'm gonna make a video game.
The game contained.
You're gonna make a video game asking for people's personal information? You gonna make that kind of video game?
Contained nothing more than a hidden ARG. And the original user who made the paste-bin on the Ascensionism findings turned out to be Clara Hope, the creator of the game, trying to bring attention to the ARG implementation. It was found that at no point was the game connected to the internet, so when you entered your personal details, it wasn't even going anywhere. It just goes to show how the internet's imagination and wild theories can transform something as ordinary as a high school final project into a decade-long cult mystery.
That's what they say. That's what they tell you, but sure, you want me to believe that?
Yay,
sure.
Video games. On September 8, 2010, Reddit user I Wish I Was a Me made a
That's like the same thing that, like, bro, I take on my phone all the time. Do not send me adverts related to me. Yeah, I'll even turn my phone offline My phone's not even connected to the internet. Why is it I mentioned lawnmowers in the past minute and then boom, next minute later, lawnmower advert? Yeah, yeah. Explain that. Yo, you want me to believe? Nah, they're all liars. They're all liars.
Post in r/gaming asking for mod recommendations for a game called Oblivion. The replies to the post started off fairly normal, with players of the game listing out the best mods for a new player. That is, until a user by the name of Yay Video Games joined in on the conversation and posted a comment stating, "The uninstall button. The game is great and all, but god is it hard to fully remove all the junk it leaves behind on your system. You really need to check out that mod when the time comes to get rid of it. Otherwise, I think a Skiro's Oblivion overhaul is a nice start." The first two sentences of this comment didn't make any sense. And when someone said, "What?" Yay Video Games once again replied with a similar comment stating, "The uninstall button. The game is great. Ubisoft goes Steamwork bye-bye, always on DRM. But you have to go work, always on work DR. Check out the junk it leaves behind in you." This somehow made even less sense than his previous comment, leaving others confused about what he was trying to say. What they didn't know was that things were about to get a whole lot more confusing. After a few more back and forths, Yay Video Games started spamming the nonsensical phrase, "Ubisoft goes Steamwork bye-bye, always on DRM," over and over in the replies. However, what turned this behavior from strange to disturbing was the fact that most of these replies were formatted differently. They were bold, italic, all capital, in camel case, and in many other formats, meaning this wasn't just copy-pasted. He also linked to some extremely unsettling images with some of these comments that didn't make much sense either. The creepiest of these images was of a white surface with Yay Video Games' odd phrase written all over it. Wow. From there, he continued posting similar comments nearly 4,000 times before finally getting banned from the subreddit. This left a lot of people questioning what they had just witnessed. Many just—
Nah, listen, this is some bullshit. You're telling me this guy can be a weirdo 4,000 times? 3,999 times didn't get banned. 4,000 times banned. But when I made a Reddit for my community, I forgot about it for 2 months. No one posted, it got banned. Didn't even post. Didn't even posted it, bro. Got banned, can't get it back. Because it was unmoderated. No one even used it. But then this freak, he gets 3,999 chances. Okay, buddy.
Just assumed that he was either trolling on some extreme level or that this was the work of an advanced bot. But before they could get any answers from Yay Video Games, he deleted his account and disappeared from Reddit. And the mystery of this bizarre breakdown remained unsolved. That is, until Reddit user SoLegitHS took it upon himself to solve this case, hoping to find an interesting ARG or something along those lines. But what he uncovered instead was far more tragic than anything he could have imagined. After going through every post from the Yay Video Games account and finding similar repetitive patterns in other places across the platform, SoLegitHS narrowed down 3 more accounts that belonged to Yay Video Games. These included No Substance Here, Vinyl Record, and Not Sure How Big You Are. Among these, Not Sure How Big You Are appeared to be Yay Video Games' main account. Here he shared many aspects of his life that were crucial to figuring out his story. And contrary to what many believed, he wasn't just some troll spamming bizarre posts for attention. Those posts were his way of coping with a deeply miserable life. According to his posts, Yay Video Games was suffering from some extreme chronic illnesses that left him in excruciating pain at all times.
Wow.
The constant medication had also messed up his mental stability, resulting in manic episodes like the one that made him popular in the first place. Sadly, all of this became too much for him to bear. In the beginning of 2015, he decided to end his own life to escape the suffering.
Wow. Well, okay. That took a crazy turn. Left
him in
yeah, that's actually pretty sad. That is actually pretty sad. Wow. Crazy.